come with me on this vlog as I try to read Project Hail Mary in like 2 days. Because we're going to see that movie this week, either Friday or Sunday. And I want to have read the book before that. So, come with me as I attempt to I want to have that book read until then. There we go. So, come with me as I attempt to read this book in 2 days. Starting now. We have it now Wednesday. And we're starting it now. So, chapter 1. Let's go. So, we have it a little bit later. A good bit later. And I'm this far through. I am in chapter 5, I think. Yes, on page 74. I also tapped some parts there. And oh, I just love how floppy this book is. This is really nice. And so far, it is really, really fun. Really fun to read. Yes, I will do a little check-in a bit later, and then I think I will also spoil a little bit from the thing. I can also just do it now. So he figured out that he's on a basically suicide mission in another solar system with a spaceship named Hail Mary, and he doesn't yet know what his goal is or like where he's heading, and so far that he doesn't know, and he is also trying to find more information about the spaceship itself, but he knows, and he gets a lot of more information, and memories are coming back to him about the research he did and what life he had before, and he remembers his name again, and like he's relatively smart, like he's a scientist, but like he's a microbiologist and has a doctorate in it and stuff like that. So it's really interesting, and I think I will just continue reading for now, so I will update you later again. I'm back after some reading time. I didn't do any updates yesterday because I was reading. So I will just remove all of the tappies I have. And I am now, I can show you this. I am now over halfway through the book. I'm on page 264 or 265. I have to look in a moment. And wow, just wow. I never thought that sci-fi, like, this is a contender of high sci-fi. So it has a lot of science and stuff behind it, and high sci-fi is also, it has to make sense what they are talking about. Like, it has to have scientific proof. You have to be able to scientifically explain stuff, which happens a lot in this book. But I never thought that I find stuff like that really interesting, because I wasn't the biggest science girly in school. But my, this is really interesting. This is really cool. And so much happened. So I will just start with, I will just spoil now. So if you don't want to have any spoilers, then you might want to click away and come back after you read the book, because highly recommend you read that book. It's a really, really interesting thing. So he's in space. Of course he's in space. But he is in another system, sun system. No, how is it called? Solar system. There you go. See, I learn fast. So he's another solar system. He's alone there because his comrades, or like his crew, they died. We don't know yet why. Maybe we figure that out, why they died. And he has the mission to figure out why this one sun in this other solar system isn't sick of this astrophyte. It's like little microorganisms, and they bounce between, for our solar system, they bounce between Venus and Sun, and they eat away from the energy of the Sun, and then they go back to Venus to reproduce, and then they do it forth and back and forth and back, and that's why the sun is dying. And when the sun is dying, that means that the humans also will die. So they made a special task force, and they made a project, that Project Hail Mary, where they built a spaceship, like an interstellar spaceship, where 3 people go there to find out why this one star in this other system is not affected, but every other star seems to be affected. So this star has to have some special stuff, and that could be the remedy for the problem on Earth, so the humans don't die out. There you go. So he wakes up from his coma, because they had to be in a coma for a long time. He has no flipping idea where he is, what he's doing, why he's in intergalactic space. And then he puzzles it together. And we get a lot of flashbacks, which is really nice, because we have like 2 storyline thingies. We have the present one, and we have like interwoven the past stuff, which is really interesting and really nice how Andi made it, so it makes sense, and it's really nice, and it's really cool. And then he is there, and he's alone, and he figures out why he has to do the stuff he has to do. And then he meets somebody. He meets an alien. Basically, an alien is just, he meets another creature from yet another solar system, and they have the same problem as he has. This guy is on the same mission as he is. So now they banded together to figure out how to save both of those planets. And before that, he was on a suicide mission. Like, he went there with no option of return. Right now we have technically the option to return because of his new friend, Rocky. He is a cute one. I really like him. And they communicate really nicely, because like they communicate with sound, so he understands the words, and he's like a really intelligent creature, and all of that is really interesting. So they now try to figure out what is happening and why both of their sons are affected and this son is not. So I will continue reading. It is a really wild ride. There are a lot of funny, nice moments, and yeah, I will update you as soon as I know a little bit more, but I only have that much left. And so far, the challenge in reading that thing as fast as possible is so far doable. I think I have like a little bit over maybe almost 200 pages left. So I will go back to my objective now and keep reading. And I also feel drawn back to the book. Like, it's really interesting because it's really scientific, and you could think that that is something that could get boring at some point, but it's so interesting because I just want to pick up the book and learn more about the scientific stuff. Every time he explains something to me, I'm like, tell it to me, because I want to learn what you are doing right now and want to understand what you are doing. And like the character dynamic between him and that alien is also a really interesting one. But before that, he was alone. For a good chunk of the book, he was alone. And it's so interesting because what do you mean I find that one person interesting enough to keep going? That was really interesting for me, so I just want to keep reading. It's a fantastic book, and yes, I will update you later, so until then. It is the next day, and we went to see the movie yesterday, Tim and I. So I didn't quite get the book finished until then. I have like 50 pages left. So I will just continue now and try to finish it today. And yeah, we're going to see what happens, because they try to, like, they went to the other planet, into the orbit, and they got some astrophages from there. And then they figured out that there are other livey things happening there, and that the same amount goes to the planet as from the planet. So he and Rocky were like, wait a moment, that must mean that there's life in a predator. So they went to get more from the breeding grounds of that planet, and with that they now had a leak into fuel compartments, and the ship went out of control, and Ryland almost got crushed to death, but Rocky saved him, and now Rocky is more or less on the brink of death, because he literally burned from the inside out, and he's in his little safe compartment again. but we don't know if he survives or not. And Rylan tries to help him, but I don't know yet what contraption he made. It's right now it's trying, like the clue is trying, so we have to figure that out. And then he makes tests with like these supposed predators, and he tries to figure out what they are doing and what they are making, like why they are there and what they are. So we're at this point right now. I will just continue reading because it's really, really interesting, and it's really like the pace picked up a lot. Like the pace is really high regardless in general, but right now the pace picked up another notch, which is really amazing. So I will just continue reading, and I will update you as I go, again, as we do for the rest of the vlog as well. So yes, we will just keep reading now. I really hope to finish the 140 pages, which shouldn't be a problem, because the last days I was like, it shouldn't be a problem. So yes. Okay, I will continue now, stopping to flick through the pages and continue reading. So we'll see you a little bit later. Whoa! I'm back. I read it. Not before. Like, I saw the movie, so I had about 150 pages left when we went to see the movie, but yeah, it doesn't matter. I finished it. I finished it on Saturday. Today is Monday, so it's a couple of days since I finished it, but wow, oh wow, was it a wild ride. And it was an amazing ride, to be honest. So the last time I did an update, I left off when we figured out that Rocky survived his trip into Ryland's atmosphere. So that's great. And then they like made an predator for that astrophage. They found a predator for that astrophage, and then they let evolution do its thing. So they breeded a predator that was able to survive in the nitrogen level of both breeding worlds, one for the solar system and one for the system of Rocky. So one breeding ground is Venus, and the other one is that other planet from Rocky's world, like his solar system. It's not the solar system, but his system. And then they parted ways, which was really sad because they had to get to their planets to save their respective species. And then there was a big leak, because the predators got out of that metal construction of the breeders, because they learned how to get around it in those courses of breeding the right amount, like breeding them up to the amount of nitrogen, they also bred them up to the amount so they can get around this metal. And Ryland realized that, and then he was like, oh no, Rocky is dead in space because his whole ship is made of that metal. And when this predator gets to the astrophyte, it just eats it up. And then the fuel of them doesn't work anymore because the fuel is astrophyte. So he sends out the beetles. He has got on his mission because they thought it's a suicide mission. So he sends out the beetles with all the information and the respective, like the predator, the breeded predator. And then he goes and gets Rocky, and it's so cute when they meet again because he's then like, Rocky, are you there? Are you hearing me? Because I know you can, but you have to actually realize that somebody is there to be able to. And then Rocky's like he's called Ryland Craze, and Rocky only calls him Craze. And then he's like, Craze there, question? And then he's like, yes, I'm here, buddy, you're not alone anymore. And then he's like, wait, you came to get me? What are you doing? And he's like, yes, I came to get you because we can save your planet now. We can save your whole system. We can save your species. And then Rocky tries to convince him, like for a couple of seconds, that he has to go and get to Earth. And he's like, no, I sent out the beetles. It's all right. We will get you to Earth. And then I will probably die because I don't have food anymore. And yes. And then Rocky comes back to the ship of Ryland, and then they go to Erit, and they figure out a way how he survives with the food, because the predator is then the baseline for the food Ryland gets. And in the end, he lives on Erit. They made him like a little domey thing where he can live with like a house and a lot of laboratory stuff, and he learns a lot about the species of the Iridian, and the Iridians learn a lot about humans. So this is just great, and it ends with him teaching little Iridians about the universe and about science and all of that stuff. So it was really cute, and I really liked it. And I have to say, this is such an amazing book. I have a massive hangover from it because it was such a cool concept of all of the information, the science and the fast pace, that well, it will be interesting to find another book. And Tim and I are planning to go through his other two books, like The Martian, I think that's how you say it. The Martian and Artemis are the other two, which we are looking at in a couple of, like, we ordered them. At some point they would arrive, and then at some point we will pick them up and read them. So I think I will also make an reading vlog for each of those because it's really interesting. But that one was an amazing read. Highly recommend to everyone. Doesn't matter if you are into science or if you're not into science. It's like you don't feel stupid while reading that book if you're not into science. And if you're into science, then it's not boring reading this book, because for some reason he has such a great, like Andi has such a great way of getting everybody up to speed and onto the same page without it being too boring for the one party or too high in comprehension for the other one. So it was really interesting because Tim is into science and he understands a lot of the things that are going on here and like all of the mathematical stuff and stuff like that. And he didn't find it boring. He found it really engaging. And for me, it was sometimes the first contact with some of the stuff there, like the science stuff, because I never really understood any of it, really. So I didn't feel stupid. I learned a lot and it was a great experience. So highly recommend. Please read the book. It's a really, really great book. So that was the reading vlog for Project Hail Mary. Project Hail Mary is read. It's finished. I hope you enjoyed it and I see you not around the next time. So until then, bye bye.